What do you believe is the most important thing you have learned about godly parenting since having children?
That God expects children to obey their parents, and for parents to teach children what obedience is. When Mark and I first got married, we had his son, my stepson, moved into the house with us, or into the house with Mark just a few days before our wedding. We didn't know that we were going to be full-time parenting at that point. It turned out great. Like, I wouldn't change any way that God had that happen. But I was thinking that we were going to have him every other weekend. And so I was not prepared. I had not prepared myself for parenting in the same way that I tried to prepare myself for marriage. So my situation was a little different because we had a 6-year-old suddenly. But teaching him that he needed to obey when we spoke, and teaching him that it was our job to show him what obedience looked like so that he could learn how to obey God. I think that's the biggest thing in parenting, is just knowing your job is to help them learn how to obey.
How do you start over with child training if you already have older children who haven't really been trained as well as they should have been?
Okay, so we have this example of when we first got married. Mark got saved shortly before I met him, so when his son was 4-ish. And I was a very baby Christian and wasn't actually helping with parenting. I was helping babysit on weekends and stuff. But both of us walked into marriage and godly parenting about the time we got married. So we needed to teach him that he needed to obey us on the first time. And so it was, I don't know, I've heard some people explain it as like boot camp and training. And it was, yes, you will listen the first time, or there will be discipline, time out, whatever that discipline is that you're using in your house. I know different people have different scenarios of what they can and cannot use. We were foster parents for part of our children's lives, and so there's different techniques, I guess you could say, that you can use for child training. But teaching them that when you say, okay, I need you to get up and go get a glass of water, that they immediately stand up and they immediately go get that glass of water. When you count 1, 2, 3, you're telling them that they don't have to obey right away. They don't have to obey till you say 3. I think the best sermon I've heard on this is by Voddie Baucham, and I think it's called Discipling Our Children. I will try to put a link to it in the bottom of this video. But he talks about the 3 stages of raising kids, and it's not exactly with set in years. He gives some years to give you an idea. But the first is to give me your attention. Like, when I speak, you need to listen. Second is give me your heart, which is, I want to teach you why I'm trying to teach you to obey. So I can teach you about who God is. And hopefully through my example, you're seeing these godly aspects come out. And through my teaching of his word, you're learning who God is and what he wants from you. And then the third stage is give me your hand. And okay, we've talked through these examples. So now I want you to actually walk alongside me and do these things. So in a not biblical example, not that it's sinful or anything, but non-biblical, is, give me your attention. You need to pay attention to what's going on around us. And when I speak, you need to listen. Give me your heart is when I say stop, it's because there was a car there and I didn't want you to get hit by it. I'm trying to explain. And then give me your hand is, okay, we're going to go on a walk together. And I want you to use this information that I've already given you to look at the world around you and see what you should be doing. Oh, there's a car coming. You should know that you should stop because we've taught you this from the time you were young. So a non-biblical example, but that idea that we're walking you through the different stages of learning to listen to mommy and daddy and why you do it, and then how you do it on your own growing up. Really, if you haven't been doing it, the key is consistency. And I find I've now been raising kids from when we got married. We got married in 2002 and it's 2019. So we've been married for 17 years now. That's a long time. And so we've been having children that we've been raising this whole time. And there's many times, I'd say at least once a year, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year, where I suddenly realize, wow, I've been slacking and not making them pay attention the first time that I speak to them. I have let it go that they don't get correction immediately when they don't listen. And we go back and we do that boot camp. And for a good week or 2, I try to be consistent. If I say something, you immediately stand up, you immediately do it. It might take longer if you've got kids who you haven't done this with. And it would be a shorter time if you've been pretty good about it and you've just, a sickness has left you not having the kids do it right away, or a pregnancy or something like that. I think with all these different stages in life that happen, especially when you have a large family where things change by season of mom being pregnant or a little one finally growing up and those types of things. But I'd say consistency is the key, and just making that your priority for the week. If school doesn't get done, it's okay. Spend the week teaching them to listen the first time, and it will help the school get done in the future. If meals have to be very basic, like we put cereal on the table in the morning to make sure that I'm having the time to be consistent, then that's the most important thing in that step. So